Happening now, local health officials have reported the 10th COVID-19 related death. We update where the local outbreak stands right now. Plus, the fate of Jamestown's Labor Day festival is sealed.
Well, it's been a wet morning out there with a few scattered showers, and we've got some more to go through this afternoon. I've got the details next. The news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. A 50-year-old Chautauqua County man has died due to ongoing complications from the novel coronavirus. Here's a look at the updated COVID-19 case map. Chautauqua County health officials say this is the 10th COVID-19 related death. They say the man was diagnosed in late July and has been hospitalized out of state since then. He suffered from multiple chronic health conditions and was not able to overcome complications from infection. Now, 14 new cases of the virus were reported since Monday, bringing the countywide total to 410. There are now 107 cases active, with 76 of them located in the northwestern part of the county. In Cattaraugus County, the health department reported 4 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, bringing the total caseload to 173, with 23 active and 147 recovered. Well, more than a dozen students at SUNY Fredonia were suspended yesterday for allegedly violating the school's COVID-19 regulations. In an email to students, University President Stephen Colson says 13 students violated the student code of conduct by attending an off-campus gathering. Officials say the suspensions were issued after reviewing their COVID-19 policy. Educators are asking others at the college to remind their peers to follow guidelines to help stop the spread of COVID-19 and ultimately keep the community safe. Meanwhile, more than 25,000 COVID-19 cases have been reported at colleges and universities nationwide. The cases span across a total of 37 states. Melissa Rainey reports on what precautions colleges are taking to prevent the continued spread of the virus.
As some students attempt to return to campus, colleges and universities in 37 states have been hit by coronavirus. More than 25,000 cases and counting. At the University of Missouri, more than 420 students have active cases. Officials at Utah State University say they've discovered evidence of the virus in a different way, in wastewater samples collected from 4 residence halls on campus, prompting mandatory testing and quarantine for students living there. University leaders in Illinois say they are working to stay ahead of the virus, testing everyone on campus often.
We're testing every week, twice a week, everybody, faculty, staff, students. So we're catching a lot of asymptomatic carriers, just as Dr. Burke said, in that age range. So we put them in what I like to think of as comfortable isolation, immediately working with the public health authorities, where they can continue their studies and they have food and they have all the medical attention on a daily basis. And anybody who's been exposed by that carrier also gets a notification and they go into quarantine, and we have housing set aside for all of that.
After a 2-week delay, the University of Minnesota will reopen campus dormitories on 2 campuses over the next 2 weeks. However, Twin Cities students will face restrictions for the first several days and only be able to leave their dorm rooms to go to classes, eat, work, or be outdoors. The university's president warning it will be far from the typical college experience.
I don't think I could be anything but honest with you to say that first period is not going to be much fun.
I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Melissa, thank you. This week, a White House coronavirus task force report alerted officials in Iowa to take more precautions against the virus, saying new cases are increasing across rural and urban areas. The report called for a mask mandate, the closure of bars, and for university towns to do more as the pandemic intensifies in the Midwest. Well, back here at home, hope for a scaled-down version of this year's Labor Day Festival in Jamestown was squashed this morning after city leaders announced the festival will not take place in any capacity. Jamestown Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Coordinator Julia Cecila Hanley announced today this celebration has been canceled. Previously, city leaders were hopeful that the Labor Day Committee could host a scaled-down gathering. However, Cecil Hanley says the event does not meet New York State's guidelines on large group gatherings due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
It really becomes impossible for us to have this event because if you've been to Bergman Park for our Labor Day Fest, it attracts thousands of people, over the course of the day. So that obviously exceeds the large gathering limit, and we want to keep people safe. And so we decided, while we would love to have the festival and support our community groups, it's just not a reality for this year.
The festival would have taken place this Sunday at Bergman Park. The city does have plans to honor the workforce here in the local community. Well, we thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now as we make our way through the first full week of September. I guess Monday was still technically August if you want to hold on to that. Let's get a check of what's happening in the comments. Got to say hello to Mike. Good to see Debbie, Brooke, John, Tammy, and Ray as well. Hopefully you're doing well. Great to see Rita. Thanks for tuning in today. Good to see Donna, Joseph, and Scott as well. Hopefully everybody is having a good day and staying dry out there because it looks like right now we're dodging a couple of rain showers. Let's get a check of that First Defense weather forecast now with
What
Chief
were you trying to say there?
Dakota Hunter. I was going to say a first check of the First Defense weather forecast, but I thought that it'd just be easier if I just
There's
said,
too many firsts in there, isn't there?
First, right.
Yeah.
We're local first. We're first with the news. We're the first people you turn to. And we're your first forecast, too.
Yeah, there you go. It all works out. There you go. Happy Wednesday. Exactly.
Except today's the second.
Exactly. Today's the second, so it doesn't really work. But anyway, happy Wednesday, everybody. Halfway through the week. Live look over Warren shows you a few of those raindrops we are wiping away this morning, or should I say early this afternoon. 71 with a dew point at 70. So the dew point is up there again today. And again, this is something we talked about basically Monday and yesterday, talking about the dew point. Again, you can see those showers moving across the far southern part of the southern tier down into northwestern Pennsylvania. So this is mainly going to be our rain for today. And there's going to be a few more showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms later this afternoon. And of course, we'll time it out on the modeling in just a little bit. 71 was the high yesterday. The cloud cover yesterday really held our high down. So again, we managed the lower 70s. 66 is where we started the day this morning, muggy and warm. 98 on this day back in 1953, and 28 is the record low set back in 1986. So through the afternoon, occasional showers, a few thunder showers definitely possible later this afternoon. Some of them this afternoon could contain some heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds. Quite muggy though. 72 the actual air temperature on the hills, 77 at the Lake Erie waterfront. Southwest wind averaging about 12 to 20, and it will be breezy with wind gusts possibly up to 30 miles per hour at times. But some cooler air is on the way. We'll talk about it in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thank you. A new report from nonprofit public education advocacy groups here in New York shows that proposed cuts to education will disproportionately affect Black, brown, and low-income students here in the state. The report, set up to fail how Cuomo's school cuts targets New York's Black and brown students, examines potential 20% cuts to the state budget in the wake of the coronavirus budgetary shortfalls. Well, it shows that the burden a 20% reduction in school aid would be unfairly bore on high-need schools that serve students of color and are predominantly from poorer backgrounds. Now, according to the report, the high-need districts face a cut of more than $2,500 per student, where wealthier districts, far better equipped to absorb those cuts, face only $800 per student, part of their deficit. Now, echoing a frequent refrain, the report's backers say legislation raising taxes on the wealthy would help to protect those students from the cuts. The report was released yesterday by the Alliance for Quality Education. You can read it in wheat on our website at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, Jamestown Public Schools will start providing grab-and-go meals next week, part of the district's fall reopening plan. School officials say starting on Tuesday, both breakfast and lunch will be available to students attending in school person or even remotely. Students attending in person will be provided with 2 meals at dismissal for the following day, while those attending remotely or via distance learning may visit their school of enrollment to pick up the food. Now on Thursdays, students will receive 4 meals, which will include lunch for Thursday, breakfast and lunch for Friday, and breakfast for Monday. Parents are also able to pick up those meals for their children using their ID numbers. For more, you can visit jpsny.org/meal info. Classes are set to begin next Tuesday. Well, coming up next, the latest on where the stimulus check stands. We catch up with local Congressman Tom Reed. And a little later on, how beavers are causing trouble in Frewsburg. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I grew up in a single-parent home. We were raised by my mom in a one-bedroom apartment in Queens, and I slept in what was supposed to be a dining room just off the kitchen. We were poor and fell behind in our bills. More than once, our electricity was shut off and there were eviction notices taped to our door. I remember walking into our kitchen and finding my mother standing by the stove, crying to herself because she didn't know what to do and felt helpless. I was about 9 or 10 when our apartment was robbed. I remember arriving home with my mother and brother and finding the door open, feeling confused because the first thing I saw was that our television, a set which forever sat on a stand in the living room, was missing. I know firsthand what it's like to be a victim, to be assaulted, robbed, to have things taken from you which you're never going to get back, and to be scarred by experiences which 30 and 40 years later still haunt me. We're lucky enough to live in Chautauqua County where by and large we feel safe, but unfortunately bad things do happen here. I want to be the district attorney who personally prosecutes the most serious crimes and who's there for victims every step of the way. These are the people I want to represent, to fight for their justice, to fight for our justice in the courtroom, to help people who have suffered at the hands of others. This is why I want to be your district attorney.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back. Americans nationwide are calling for additional stimulus money as the COVID-19 pandemic continues. Congress has yet to reach a deal on a stimulus package, and Republican Tom Reed says one of the ideas that he wants to see implemented is a reward for those who have continued to work throughout the pandemic.
I am on board with that concept, and I hope in this next package that type of additional stimulus check and reward would be considered and successfully negotiated into this package. That being said, there's additional relief that is needed. Obviously, people that are continuing to suffer as a result of the high unemployment that we've seen, that has got to be taken into consideration. So the package has to be bigger than just stimulus checks, but I am supportive.
Now, Reed and other bipartisan colleagues co-introduced the Rewarding American Workers Act, a bill intended to provide a payroll tax credit for employers in order to pay workers bonuses. Well, that remains stalled in the House right now. Walmart is getting ready to offer a new membership program to its shoppers. The retail giant announced yesterday it will soon be launching Walmart Plus. The program is expected to include unlimited free delivery on orders of $35 or more. Now, according to Walmart, customers will have the option of same-day deliveries on more than 160,000 items, from groceries to tech and toys. Walmart Plus will also feature a new scan-and-go option for in-store shopping. It will be similar to one offered at Sam's Club. The program launches on September 15th. Walmart Plus will cost $98 a year or $12.95 a month. Well, President Trump witnessing the destruction in Kenosha, Wisconsin for himself. businesses were burned, vandalized, and looted during protests sparked by a police shooting of Jacob Blake. K-State investigators say they've now worked for more than 600 hours on that. Nadia Romero is on the ground there in Kenosha with the latest.
I'm committed to helping Kenosha rebuild.
President Trump pledging to give $1 million to Kenosha law enforcement and vowing during his visit to Kenosha, Wisconsin Tuesday to help rebuild businesses destroyed during the protests there.
I'm also providing nearly $4 million to support these small businesses that I talked about today that got burned up, burned down. And we're going to be providing over $42 million to support public safety statewide.
Despite pleas from the governor and local officials to visit at a later time, the president came and his visit was met with opposition. Protesters on both sides clashing on the streets. Jacob Blake's friends and family slammed the president's visit as a campaign stunt.
It is the same reason he visited Portland. He is here to sow chaos and fear.
Jacob Blake should have been the primary purpose and the primary focus. That is what's causing this country to be in an uproar.
President Trump did not meet with Jacob Blake nor his family during his visit, saying the family wanted lawyers involved.
I didn't get to speak to the mother. I hear she's a fine woman. I've heard that from the pastor.
In Kenosha, Wisconsin, I'm Nadia Romero reporting.
Nadia, thank you. Back here at home, high waters created by a beaver dam near the trailhead of the Rails to Trails path in Frewsburg have delayed the project, but officials say they're working to coexist with nature's construction engineers. Town of Carroll Supervisor Russell Payne says that a solution is now being sought that will complete the trail without harming the beavers or their habitat. Officials and the Department of Environmental Conservation are working together to find that solution. The first phase of the project will run from Main Street to Riverside Road and a second phase from Riverside Road to the Pennsylvania state line. Payne says the close proximity to the Audubon Community Nature Center on Riverside Road is a natural tie-in to those trails. Certainly can't wait for that to get done today. It might not be a great day to hit the trails with a little bit of rain out there. We'll get a check of our First Defense forecast here in just a couple of moments. But first, let's check in with the comments and say hello to Stephen. Good to see Brittany as well. Deb and Lori, good afternoon to both of you. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We appreciate it. Good to see Wendy. Hopefully you're doing well. Always happy to have you here, Wendy. Thanks so much for joining us. Great to see Emily and Sharon as well. Let us know what you guys are doing in the comments down below. Always love to check in and see what is happening. Well, now let's get a check of that aforementioned forecast with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. And today, Dakota, the story really is wet. We've been lucky the last couple of days that we've dodged rain for the most part, but it seems like fall is coming our way.
Yeah, fall is coming, but we've got today and tomorrow to go through of the humidity. So now, because we're into September, let's talk about kind of what's kind of on the horizon for this month here. So these are all the historical records throughout the month of September. The highest temperature ever recorded throughout the month was 98 degrees, set all the way back in 1953 on this day, actually. That is the record high for this date. The lowest low temperature was 24, set back on the 22nd of 1904. The most amount of rain we ever picked up on a single day was 3.7 inches, set on the 9th in 2004. And believe it or not, we've had snow in September. The highest snowfall total, 2 inches, set back on the 30th in 1906. So it's been a while since we've actually seen snow in September, actually. So showers and a few rumbles this afternoon. Humidity is going to stay in play for tomorrow. But after that, we shove a cold front through the area. It is going to turn cooler and drier as we head into the weekend. And next week starts school, as Jay just mentioned, and it is looking good. The forecast for at least Tuesday, good right now. See the raindrops on the DoubleTree camera right now, 69. Got some rain showers falling at the airport. Southwest wind is 16. The wind gust is at 23. But notice the dew point again up to 68. And again, the dew point is going to be the factor today. It's going to be humid once again today. So the NOAA Storm Prediction Center does have a low-end marginal risk in place for much of the southern tier in northwestern Pennsylvania. That's all this darker green. That's a level 1 out of 5. Yeah, I'm not really impressed with the setup today, but again, as long as there's a marginal risk, we'll mention it. And then again, if any storms do become strong to severe today, it is going to be a strong wind gust threat and some heavy rainfall, no hail likely expected, and no tornado threat. The setup is rather weak, and I'm not really expecting a whole lot out of this setup today. First Defense Doppler radar showed you those rain showers that are moving across the area. In fact, we'll zoom into Warren County because this is the rain shower that I showed you on the Skycam image earlier. You can see this rain is starting to move east-northeast, and there's a little bit more development back to our west here, but cold front back here. This is going to be moving on through tomorrow or tomorrow night, and after that front moves through, it's going to turn cooler and less humid. Let's show you a future scan here. It shows you those showers and storms popping up through the afternoon. This is going to be our best chance for any strong to severe storms. This is by about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Again, the setup is rather weak, so I'm not counting on any strong to severe storms this afternoon, but there is a small chance, so again, we'll mention it. Those move out to the east, especially later this afternoon and tonight. Any early showers come to an end, then dry overnight, mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow is going to start dry, then we'll see a small chance for at least a couple showers. Here they come, popping up, especially in the afternoon. But again, it's 25 to 30% chance coverage tomorrow, so it's going to be a very scattered or isolated chance tomorrow. And then as that cold front pushes through, it turns cooler and less humid and drier as we head into Friday and the weekend. So zone forecast, the inland areas today, these temperatures are going to be determined on the onset of the rainfall. Of course, the rain already happened this morning, so, some of these temperatures might be overdone. This is computer data. It's suggesting around 75, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if some spots stay in the lower 70s. How about the future? There it is for you. 80 degrees tomorrow, 71 on Friday. And again, we turn much drier as well. Look at that weekend. Fantastic. Lots of sunshine. Labor Day dry, 74. And as we send the kids back to school on Tuesday, should be mainly dry with temperatures in the mid 70s. We'll take a break and be right back. Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Hey, welcome back. Whether your child is heading back to the classroom or learning from home, planning for healthy snacks or packing a lunch that's good for them can be a bit difficult. Our Mandy Gaither has some tips on how to help with that in today's Health Minute.
It's one of the best things you can do for your child, but feeding them healthy meals and snacks isn't always easy, especially during the school year.
Eating properly affects how we feel. It affects our mood, it affects our brain. And so if we're not fueling our bodies, then we're not going to be able to function properly.
Catherine Sherry is a licensed and registered dietitian with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Strong for Life. She says kids should be offered 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks throughout the day. Snacks should consist of 2 food groups. For example, yogurt and a side of crackers, hummus with veggies or a pita, a cheese stick with fruit, or a slice of bread with peanut butter and some banana on top. As for lunch, make meals healthy by making half your plate veggies or fruit.
Bean and cheese veggie quesadillas, and they taste great cold or warmed up. Turkey and cheese roll-ups. Grab a tortilla, some turkey, some cheese, and then add an apple on the side. We have a well-rounded meal that contains some fruit, some protein, and some whole grain.
And break yourself from a food rut by keeping it simple and fun. Just plan ahead.
Wash and prep some berries, cucumbers, bell peppers the day before, so you can add those to meals, add those to snacks throughout the day.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mandy, thank you. The dietitian says that we teach kids now about what is healthy so that they'll take those tips with them into adulthood. Well, certainly grabbing a healthy snack, and especially now at lunchtime, can be a difficult thing. Dakota, I eat the same thing every day, peanut butter and jelly. I get asked this actually quite a bit. It's hilarious. A friend of mine works down south, and he texts me, "Hey, what are you having for lunch today?" Just to be nice and be random. And I'm like, "What do you think?" PB&J, buddy. It's
right.
What it is. My PB&J, my Lay's baked chips, and a Propel. I've actually drinking. Yeah. I'm an English person. I'm drinking.
Product placement.
Consumed most of it. But you, sir, is
this a healthy lunch here?
Chips?
I've got some Lay's potato chips, product placement,
Yummy.
and some Famous Amos, whoops, there we go, Famous Amos chocolate chips, chocolate cookies, product placement once again.
No, you just eat the chips.
Yeah, there we go. We're not allowed to eat on the air, so unfortunately, but is this a healthy lunch?
No one wants to hear us eat. I don't think so, but you know what? I mean, do you have anything else that's healthier? I mean, why don't we just rip apart your lunchbox?
Yeah, I have a ham and cheese sandwich. Is that healthy?
That could be healthy. What kind of bread?
White.
Okay, not healthy.
You see, I don't like wheat bread though.
Yeah.
It's nasty. So, but my all-time favorite bread is potato bread, which is not all that healthier, but it tastes great.
It does taste just
For
as
me,
good, too.
I don't care about healthy. I want great taste.
Yeah.
That's why I look like this.
I think it's a fine balance, but
you see, this is why I look like this, because I eat stuff like this for lunch.
Yeah.
So somebody please
just take
get me an apple.
We'll get, if you have an apple, bring it on.
Although
down.
I do have an apple.
You do?
I have
why
one
didn't you
sitting
bring
in the
that
weather
up?
center. I have one on my wrist, and I have one in my hand.
Oh, that
right
kind
here.
of apple.
Ba-dum-bum.
How funny. You know, Dakota used
We'll
to be
bill
able
Apple for the product
You used to be able to pull these little things on us, but now we're in the same room in our new studio.
Yeah, so it's no longer a secret.
It's no longer a secret for me. I see him during the package going through his lunchbox, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be cute. Okay, thanks.
Because you see, back in the old studio, the weather office and the studio was separate.
Yeah.
So
now we're
I
together.
could pull these little tricks, and Jay had no idea what I was about to do until they would cut to me on the wall. But now, since we're in the same place, it's no longer secretive anymore.
I'm watching you, Hunter.
That's right.
Good
we
to
actually
see.
have a camera in here that's actually pointed directly at the Weather Center's direction, because kind of in our new studio, the Weather Center is straight on from where I'm looking. So there's a camera that is over here that is pointing directly over at the Weather Center. So now, if corporate ever wants to see if I'm working back here, they can just punch that up.
We can't
and spy
punch it
on
up,
me.
but they watch us. It is what I don't think they're watching us, but I think they're watching the technology. That's what they're actually watching. But.
They have it pointed at the monitors to see if I'm actually working or if I'm doing something inappropriate.
Good to see Michelle. Good to see Erica, Mandy, and Scott as well. Hopefully, you're all having a good day. Thanks so much for joining us. Let us know what you're thinking about in the comments below. And I'm sure a lot of people, too, are thinking about weather forecast, Dakota, because Labor Day is coming up, and we're all looking forward to that. Social distancing, all that fun stuff. But I'm excited. I got a vacation coming up in a couple of weeks. So fingers crossed weather will be good for that.
Yes, and from what I understand, Jay's going to a state that is not on the New York State Travel Advisory
Right
list.
now, anyways.
Right.
They're not.
So hopefully Jay will not have to quarantine when he comes back. 58 to 66 tonight, early shower, then it turns much cooler as we go into it. Take a look at the 7-day here. Labor Day should be mainly dry, around 74, partial sunshine, and as the kids head back to school next Tuesday, 76 with lots of sun. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Of course, news does continue 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with a live look over Chautauqua Lake. It stopped raining at the moment. When you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading our mobile app. We're back here tomorrow at noon. I hope to see you then.